Okay. So this is where we at now. And Elohim said,
look at the season. Let's do a word check on season.
Okay.
Because we need to understand what this season is referring to.
Okay, we see we got the word moed here, right?
Okay, what is the definition of moed, Sal?
Okay. It just means season, appointed times, assembly, solemnity, day, sign, then synagogue. You know they're gonna throw that in there.
Right. We know this appointed time.
Mm-hmm. Appointed
this
time.
Assembly is a time when he tells you to come together, because basically that's what you do. You're coming to assemble, but you're coming at an appointed time. You're like the Shabbat is an appointed time.
Right. And then
so when you read in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, when I deal with a lot of my other Hebrew brothers where I used to attend church, then they say, well, the feast deals with the moon. It's not in there. But we just read there, the moon is for appointed time. So why isn't the feast, the Sabbath day, not in there? And that's your first feast day he gives you in Leviticus 23rd chapter, is the Shabbat. That's a feast, regardless whether you feed on something, on physical food, you're feeding on the word of Yah. So that is an appointed time. That's why it's so important that we wake up at this time we're living in now, because we don't understand the time because we're not keeping the correct time. So if you're not keeping the correct time, how can you understand when he's making his second return?
Right.
And so you're trying to line yourself up to know the season and your time appointed. Keep reading, Sal.
Hold on, I'm show y'all this too. When you in this, sometimes you're gonna, because you always want to go down to the Brown Driver Briggs. That's gonna give you it's gonna give you most of the time a little bit stronger than up here. And it's gonna give you scriptures where to go find these things. So you'll always be there. You won't never get lost. It's giving you all the Hebrew letters. So if you want to go through them and then put it together yourself, appointed time, place, or a meeting. Then down here you got sometimes you always have this Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon too. And it's going to give you some more information on that too. But you see it saying the same thing, a set time, this time next year. See, about this time next year. Okay, we come up out of that.
That's so important. But you look at, he said what scripture was that, Sal, you read? 14?
Yeah.
Keep reading.
Okay, so it's saying the same. When you go back to the root word, it's telling you the same thing. To meet by appointment, gather, assemble, appoint, to cause a meet. All right. So you always want to go in this root word too. When you're doing this here, try to get to the base of it. Okay. For season and for days and years, you want to look at that or just no?
What season? What's the word season?
Moed.
Okay.
Okay. So let me come out of this. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven, to give light upon the earth, and it was so. Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
So you see here in this verse, he gives you three forms of light. Now we were taught that we would go by the dark moon as a new moon. But he couldn't have started at that point because there's no light to that moon. That's how I say the greater light, the lesser light. The sun we know is a greater light. The moon is a lesser light, and the stars, they're also lights.
Right.
But it had to be a full moon at this beginning for him to say the lesser light. Other than that, if we're looking at a dark moon, he wouldn't even mention, he would have just said the sun and the stars. But he gave you the lesser light. We know that was the full moon.
Right, because he's telling you right here to rule. So you want to look that up.
The moon can rule, it's got to be out bright where you can rule. Because when they mean by rule, what does rule mean, Sal?
I'm on it. Messiah, let's see. To govern, to have dominance, power, rule, dominion of Elohim. Let's see.
And to govern mean when there is no, as you can see, if you go outside and there's no moon outside, it's completely dark. You can't see anything. But when
Right.
that moon is at its fullness, it's governing the nighttime. You can see everything. You don't need a flashlight.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. And
So
Elohim.
let's move on. Let's go to stay in Genesis. Let's go and see. Let's go deal with Noah in verse 7. Where we can try to find this beginning of year thing.
You want to go Genesis? What?
Genesis 7.
Chapter 7. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna start at verse 1.
Okay. And Yahuah said unto Noah, come thou and thy house and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation.
Skip the verse 1.
For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according to all that Yahuah commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth.
Skip to verse 10.
And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. And the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the window of Shamaim was open.
So how many days was the flood upon the earth? Did it flood before Noah was able to come out of the ark? It's not a quick question, trick question.
Yeah, they should know this.
Anybody?
Anybody? 100 and anybody? Let's go.
What was the question?
How many days was the water upon the earth before Noah was able to come out of the ark?
I think it was 150.
Yep, that's it.
What was that, 150?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna go take another
Yeah, it
look.
was 150, I think.
Let's go look at that. Go to chapter 8
Mm-hmm.
and pick up in verse 1.
And Elohim remembered Noah and everything and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also, the deep of the windows of the heavens were stopped. The rain from the heavens was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. And that's very important what he said. You know this already though, Joshua, but he's steady telling you this same type of stuff over and over. So he's giving you a time. He's trying to give you time. Okay, now, and the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. And the 10th month on the first day of the month were the tops of the mountain seen. So that's something else that's very important. Okay. And it came to pass at the end of the 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her feet, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. And he put his hand forth his hand and took her and pulled her into the ark. And he stayed yet another 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet another 7 days and sent forth the dove, which returned not again into him anymore. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, The waters was dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark, and he looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the second month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried.
So the earth was dry in the second month on the 27th day of the month. If we go back and look at, and I'm gonna go back and just read it. In the 600 years, in the second month, same time we're looking at, the 27th day of the month, the same day. So Noah was in that ark for a whole year.
Yeah. Because remember, when we first started, it said what? He was 600 years old.
Right, not 601.
Now he's 601, and he's giving you, and the first year in the first month, right? Which is Abib, right?
That's true.
First day of the month.
First day of the month. I know we were taught he was in the, but the water was longer than that.
Right.
But let's take a look at this day, what he called the first year. Let's look at this, because these were marker. These are marker days. And it's so important to know these marker days, because these marker days complete the 364. Let's go to the book of Jubilee.
Okay, hold on a minute. The book of Jubilee. Let me see. Book of Jubilee. Hold on a minute. I can do it like this.
And if there's any questions, like I said, we just going through a couple of things,
No, it's good. It's good. Okay. What chapter?
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6. Okay.
And we're gonna start in verse 15.
Okay. Let's see. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. And he set his bow in the cloud for a sign of the eternal covenant, that there should not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason, it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. So did y'all catch that? So this is why these feasts are so important. This one here.
Keep reading, child, because these feasts at least this feast just didn't start with us. This feast it's on a whole nother different level.
Right, and this whole festival was celebrated in the Shamayim from the day of creation to the days of Noah, 26 Jubilees and 5 weeks of years.
So we see this feast didn't just come upon Noah. It was celebrated in Shamayim. Wow, they feasted in heaven? Amazing. What's above is below, huh?
Right, that's right.
Keep reading, Sarah.
And this whole festival was celebrated in the heavens from the day of creation to the days of Noah's 26 Jubilees and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 Jubilees and 1 week of years, till showing you what it is, how long, till the days of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his son did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood, which he already warned them that they weren't supposed to do.
And pay close attention to, he talks about these Jubilees. These Jubilees are a very important part of this book, because we're still dealing with numbers. That's why the book tells you, the book of Psalms, I think it says, learn to number your days.
Right.
So the math is definitely a very important part of this Bible. Not so much, we need to just omit it, because some people say we ain't got to read the book of Jubilee, but then the book of Jubilee is a big Genesis. It tells you, it's called the book of division, because this is how Noah divided the earth between his 3 sons.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in the class. We had because everybody has a book of Jubilees, and we're gonna go through God culture. That's what we've been. Right now, we're just reading the front of the book, so we're gonna go through. Okay, but Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Yitzhak and Jacob or Yaakov and his children observed it up to your days. And in your days, the children of Israel forgot it until you celebrated it anew on this mountain. So that's a hint right there. Did y'all catch that? And do you command the children of Israel to observe this festival in all their generations for a commandment until them one day in the year, in this month, they shall celebrate the festival. For it
What
is
feast was what, the Feast of Week? Okay. Go ahead, keep reading, I'm sorry.
okay, for it is a feast of weeks and the feast of first fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it celebrated. That's the
So
two.
when he said this feast is a twofold and a double nature, he's referring to the harvest that you brought in, dealing with grain and barley. That's what he's referring to. Because when you left out of Mizraim, your bread didn't rise.
Just tell them what the feast, what day that we know. If you don't know what the Feast of Weeks is, what's another name we call it?
They call it Shavuot. People would say it's Pentecost, but it's Shavuot. And during our process of time, we're going to go and show you the time frame where Moses went up to the mountain 3 times. He went up more than 3 times, but he went up for 40-something days, those 3 times he went up. And we think it was in the month of August or July. I'll get it down to the point where we can kind of like do the math and come back around to the next year. But anyway, during those days, Pentecost was later on when Aaron built that golden calf. That was Pentecost. They were dealing with the wine. When the people got drunk, and you know how we do it.
Right. So y'all should know by now. Y'all should know what the first fruits is. What the first fruits is. Like we looked at. If you looked at the class on the priest on the offerings, you should know what that is. Who can tell me what that is? Okay.
First fruits to be offered up to Yah, to be accepted of Yah, Yahusha being the firstborn from the dead,
Mm-hmm.
to ascend to the Shamayim.
Right. So whatever the first fruit of each harvest was, they were supposed to offer that up to Yahweh. Right. Okay. You may keep going.
Yeah, keep reading.
And
Why I've written.
that's why Cain's,
Go ahead.
That's why what?
oh, I was gonna say that's why Cain's offering wasn't blessed, because he didn't offer the first fruit. He just offered anything.
Exactly.
That's right.
All right. Well, I have written in the book of the first Torah, and that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, one day in a year. And I explained to you its sacrifices that the children of Israel should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, one day in every year. And on the new moon of the first month. And
Okay. It says on the new moon of the first month. We could have said on the new month of the first month. So can you look in the scripture, do a Google, and Sirach, and ask about the moon is named after the month. Well, we can realize, because you don't have to actually use moon. You can say month. Sirach, the book of Sirach. Let me see, hold on.
Oh, I don't have mine in front of me.
Hold on, let me see, can I Google it? Where in the book of Sirach it says that the moon is named after the month? 43 and 8.
All right, let's see.
And it's also, I think it's in the King James, Ecclesiastic.
Okay, let's see. And on the moon in all her seasons is for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of the festival day, a light that decreases in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasingly wonderful in her perfection.
So we see, even go to the Ecclesiastic 43 and 8. In the I don't know whether it's the King James.
Ecclesiasticus, or
Hold on, I think that's the one we read the other night.
but you know they call Sirach Ecclesiasticus too now.
Yeah, no, that's not the one. That's the one we read the other night. Don't worry about that. Keep reading, child, where you were. Go back and read it. Because that's dealing with the good man is gone and he won't be back until the new moon.
What you want to go to?
No, keep reading where you were.
Okay, hold on. That's all
Go
it's
back
giving me.
to Jubilee 23.
Okay. Okay. And on the new month of the first month, and on the new month of the fourth month, and on the new month of the seventh month, and on the new month of the 10th month are the days of remembrance. So right here, he's telling you when the feast days are at, but also he's telling you that it's to be, you know, in other words, you see right here, the new month. Okay. The seasons in our 4 divisions of the year, these are written and ordained as a testimony forever. So we know if it's a testimony, it's coming out of the emperor's mouth. It is what it is, right? And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new month of the first month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth.
We read that, didn't we? That's what we read in Genesis.
Right.
When Noah built the ark on the moon of the first month. So we see these markers, and these markers are the days of remembering. So the days of remembering, if you forget these days, you lose track of time. Because these days are supposed to be celebrated. These are your anchor days that start your 4 seasons. That's why I said 4 days. Because each month has each section has a total of 90 days in them, 3 months. And there's 52 months, 52 weeks in a year. If you multiply times the Sabbath days, you get 91. Is that right, Sal? 364, I'm sorry, my bad. 364. There's 13 weeks in 3 months, which is 52. So these are the days of remembrance ahead of months. And he's reminding you not to forget these months, because these are your anchoring points to bring you to the next 3 months. So you've got to find, once you find these months, you have no problem finding your new year, because you know where it starts. And you know every 3 months, and then you got that anchor, which is a transitional point. You're into another season. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. Those are your anchoring points. That's where you get the 364 from.
And is that why he uses the equinox as well?
Well, they use
In other
the
words, not in
equinox.
scripture, but he put it up in the sky.
The equinox deals with time, the way time is set. Hold on. I looked up something on that too. The 60-minute thing. Google, well, let me see. You can't do it. I have to do it.
And watch, okay, hold on, man. Watch this right here. We just learned that the moon is called, another name for the moon is called month. So if you notice, all these things that he's doing is always on the new moon. On the new moon. See what I'm saying? On the new moon. That's what he's telling you. On the new moon.
The moon is so important in our everyday life, you know what I mean? Because it's dealing with appointed times. And once you learn how to calculate these moons, you have no problem showing up and finding God's feast day. So did you give them that
Where do you want me to go?
calendar, the DAT calendar?
No, that's the thing. Wait a minute. That's the thing I think we need to you need to go ahead and go over that with them. I mean, as far as downloading it.
Yeah, because they need to know, you know, because just in case it's not something you want to rely on, but it's something you want to look at to remind yourself. Because we get busy in our everyday life and we forget. And you're not actually looking at the moon all the time. That would be a good thing to learn how to do it. But by using this DAT moon thing, that's a beginning point.
Right. And let's see. I don't know if my mother can do it because I know she has Apple, so they're gonna probably charge her for that.
No, they ain't gonna let her do it.
But Jasmine, do you have an Apple or you got a Android?
Apple.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can download it. I don't know how much they're gonna charge you for it.
I don't think they're gonna let her download it.
Really?
No.
Is it like an app or something?
Yeah. I'm gonna show you what it looks like.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of the best apps I've seen so far when you're dealing with the moon, because you can go to what they call the globe moon on this app, and it can show you the world globe, and it can show you your location where you at, and the sun and the moon where its location is. And you can spin it from one side of the world to the other one and see light on one part of the earth.
That's how it looks. And then you can go to your then you can go into your different phases. You can come up here and click. It's gonna give you a whole lot of other information. So I don't know how y'all gonna get your hands on it, but
It gives you the
you need it.
zodiac, the house you're in, and everything.
It's called the, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, Jessica.
Go ahead, Sal. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's called the DAT moon. It's called the DAT. Hold on a minute.
Said D as in Donald, A as in Apple, and T as in Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Daff, like Daffy Duck, but without
Oh, okay.
the DAF, DAFF.
DAF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a great tool if you can get it. Because like I say, you can follow and track your moon. You can follow the time of prayer on it. You can actually look at the solar system.
Yeah, it has everything on it. That's for
It's
sure.
got everything.
So it's just called the DAF moon.
Yeah, it's an app. You go to the Android store, but you guys got them apples, man. They, or your boy got y'all under control, strong. Y'all be making sure the pole man.
Well, I might be able to do it on my computer. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
My computer's not an Apple.
Do you have
a tablet?
Yeah.
Mama, you have a tablet?
Yeah, I have a tablet, but it's an Apple.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You balling, Mama.
He appled up. What about you, Jasmine? You got what
So
about you,
I'll see if I
have
can
a,
download it on my computer.
I have a MacBook, but I also have like a regular HP computer too. So I probably can look it up on that because I think I can download.
Yeah, you would definitely want
that too.
you definitely want to do that because it's gonna be helpful in the future when we start doing these classes. See, this is some of the stuff we were gonna talk about tonight with everybody. So we'll just have to cover it, I guess. Because I'm gonna do a class.
The Google Play.
Like I say, when it comes down to tracking your days of remembrance and the days that you're supposed to be showing up, it gets you on point where you need to be. There's no question about it. I know we're not commanded to use a lot of technology, but we're living in the age of technology, so we take advantage of it. I mean, because it's just the time we're in. But then, there was technology during that time. They had more technology than what we have. We don't look at it that way, but they had it. Because the Malachians gave them everything.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as cancer. They healed people.
Mm-hmm. And they diet too.
So what you're saying to me is I go to the App Store and look up DAF moon?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you would do it because my computer won't let me do it. I had to do it with my tablet.
I need to find out through Abraham. Abraham's a computer man. I need to ask him.
Yeah.
I'll find out through him. When I get the information, I'll share with you guys because he know how to do it. I know he can.
Right. Okay. So where we going now, Priest?
Where we stop at, so?
We was in Jubilee. You said to go to somewhere else next now.
Hold on. Let's go to.
We went down here, and all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. This is engraved and ordained in the heavenly tablets. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. So he's steady warning you. And command you, the children of Israel, that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days. And these will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts. For everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. That's powerful. And they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. So they precise.
Exactly.
But if they do not neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of years, and will forget the new months and seasons, or the new moons and seasons and Shabbats, and they will go wrong as to all the orders of the years. For I know, and from henceforth will I declare unto you, and it is not of my own devising, for the book is written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles, which we do right now, right? After the error and after their ignorance.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
is so true. Everything we read here is so true. I mean, we see it in front of us. We don't forget the moon, the new moon. That's why I say in Amos, what it said, Amos, one of the brothers was quoting me. I hate your feast days, your Sabbath days. See, he said the Mashiach did it with the Sabbath. He said he hates your feast days and yours, not his. He's talking about yours because you're keeping them on the wrong day.
Mm-hmm. And then if you guys watch some videos, you'll see that he's restoring this type of stuff, because it tells you the same thing in the King James Version Bible, right? Isn't that right, Jeshurun?
It does.
So if you watch them
He's gonna
videos,
restore it all back.
right, he's gonna restore it all. That's what he's doing right now. So where you want me to go now?
And not only that, Israel is starting to wake up, but as they wake up, they're dirty. They don't know nothing about the feast. They don't know nothing about the Shabbats. They're waking up though, because this is time. We're way overdue. It's time. They're starting to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why everything is starting to open up, but we're starting to see more and more. Like I said, knowledge is going to increase, and it's definitely increasing. Because where were we at 2 or 3 years ago, Sal? We
Hey,
were
what
dealing
now?
with,
What do we do?
I said, where were we 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, we wasn't.
We weren't dealing with what we're dealing with now.
No, we definitely wasn't. Nope, we was all on the Jewish Saturday.
So things are changing. Keep reading, Sal. Where you stopped at? What
I
verse?
stopped, let's see. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day, the day of testimony and unclean day of feast day, unclean day of feast day, and they will confound all the days, the Kodesh with the unclean, and the unclean day with the Kodesh, for they will go wrong as the months and Shabbats and the feasts of Jubilees. And this is what we was doing. They didn't even realize it. For this reason, I command and testify you that you may testify to them, for after your death, your children will disturb them. So they because we know that they went right back to doing what the nations was doing, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong as the new moons, seasons, Sabbath, Shabbats, and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Mm-hmm.
Okay. When one worships on the day, he reveals who he worships. The Shabbat was made for the Creator and his people as a sign. Lucifer unite the world using a solar calendar. That's where we get this from. Those that designed to show their allegiance to the Creator will worship him on the day he designated. Let's go to Enoch 72.
Okay. Let's see. I think I got, hold on a minute, let me see something. I think I got Enoch on here already. I just gotta find it. Yep. Oh. Now y'all see how a lot of these apps, while we up here, Jasmine, I think Mama has some of this, but while you up here, go ahead and pull this up. And then I always just put it in I just save it to my favorites. That way.
Apps are good to have, so.
Right.
I'm learning from you about using the apps.
Oh, it's gonna save you money. It's gonna save you money. So I mean, because in that way you can get as many versions as you want. All you do is just pull it on up for free. Boom, and then just say. I mean, you need to have hardcover. That's for sure. Because when they shut all this stuff down, it's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna be they're gonna be lost. But yeah, that's what I always do. I always catch it and save it to my favorites. What you say, chapter 78?
Right. And another thing about these apps, so, like I do a lot of, I'll go into the scripture and I have to read it, because I was dealing with a brother today and he was saying, well, I don't understand that. So what I did, I did the read along thing where they read it and I listened to it very closely. And I heard exactly what I need to hear in order to explain it to him. Because he said he couldn't understand. We were dealing with the book of Enoch 78. Start at verse 1, so.
Well, see, that's why I like this one too, because not only is they giving you the book of Enoch, he giving you references where you can go and look up the same thing in the King James version.
Which app is that, so?
This is called the Book of Enoch with biblical references.
Okay, let me write that down.
I'll give you an example real quick. See, he's gonna go through and he's gonna start talking about, but then you're gonna see he's gonna put the scriptures in there where you can align up to what Enoch is saying. So if you don't have this, you need to get this.
See, because the thing about it, whether people know or not, so the book of Enoch, I mean, the New Testament, what you call the Brit Hadashah, is quoting nothing but Enoch.
Oh yeah. What is it? Paul, Titus. Yeah.
Jude, all these cats quoting
Yeah,
Enoch.
Jude, exactly. Jude almost like a mirror image of it.
It is. Start at verse 1, so when you get there.
Okay. The names of the son are as follows. The first is Oriers, the second Thomases. The moon has 4 names. The name is Asonia, the second is Ebla, the third is Benace, and the fourth Ere. These are the 2 great lights. Their disk is like the disk of heaven, and in size, the 2 are equal. And the disk of the sun are 7 parts of light, which are added to it more than the moon. That's why it's brighter. And in fixed measure, light is transferred to the moon until the 7th part of the sun is exhausted. So you want to break that down for them?
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, right here, you want to break the,
Wait, it said the distance of the sun is 7 parts of light, which is added more to the moon. Okay, when it's talking about 7 parts, each 7th day is considered a part when you're looking at it. And on the half of the moon, which is your 7th part, you go to the other half, which is going to be your other 7th part, and the next phase, you're going to get the 15th day, which is going to be a full moon. So when you do the Shabbat, you start with the full moon as the first day of the month. Then your next 7 days is going to be on the waning side. I'm showing you the waning side. She's going to decrease. And then on the next 7 days, she's going to decrease again 7 other parts, which is going to bring her down to the dark moon altogether. The waning part is the decreasing part, which brings you to the dark moon. The waxing part is where she's getting into a full stage. So it's breaking it down into parts. And it's actually dealing with, like, they would say the first quarter, the second quarter, the quarters we're dealing with. He's moving inside and decreasing inside. Go ahead, Sal.
Okay. Let's see. And they said, go to the gates of the west, go round through the north, and rise through the gates of the east on the face of the heaven. And 15 parts of light are transferred to it until on the 15th day it is full, according to the sign of the year, and amounts of 15 parts, and the moon comes into being by halves of 7 parts.
So half of 7 parts is 14 and 14 at one, you got that 15, like I was telling you. Dealing with these Shabbat days. That's basically what you're dealing with, your Shabbat.
Right, because let me show them something real quick, Just Ron. So that, man, we had to do this too, so that they can understand better. To the calendar, to this thing here, so they can see what we had set up already. Let's see.
You going to the calendar?
Yeah. I think. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right. So what he's talking about, y'all, is he's starting out. He's coming from here. She don't have no light at all. Okay, so the sun is exhausted. Now she's gonna count the 15 days. And that's gonna bring her up here to the first of the month, or the full moon, which is the first of the month. See, on the side whence the light of the moon comes forth, there again she wanes till all the light vanishes, and all the days of the month are at an end, and her circumference is empty, void of light. So
that's the first day. She's empty. That's the dark moon. There's nothing in her.
Right, nothing in it. So we're gonna go back to where we were reading, because we're gonna come to this. And if you don't understand it right away, don't worry about it. Because like I said,
no, because I've been, like I said, doing this thing for a year, and it's just,
yeah.
But I had to, one thing I come to see is these so-called Pharisees that gave us this Friday and Saturday and all this stuff. Even when it comes into this new moon, they still flipping the script.
Yeah.
Because their whole thing is for us to fail. They've already told you Satan is our father. So just like Yah collects souls, Satan collects souls as well. So they're working for Satan. So they want you to fail. That's why they keep putting different things out there to throw you off the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And as you, like Abraham, he told Abraham, he said, I call Abraham my friend because Abraham was seeking me. Abraham just didn't stop in one place and just settle for where he was. He kept looking. That's why he called him his friend. Because he said, seek me and you shall find me. And that's what we're doing. We're on this journey. We're looking for Yah.
Praise Yah.
Okay. Now, verse 8, and in its waning on the first day, it decreases to 14 parts or 14 days of light. And on the second to 13th part, and on the third to 12 parts, on the fourth to 11 parts, on the fifth to 10 parts, on the sixth to 9 parts, and on the seventh to 8 parts, on the eighth to 7 parts, and on the ninth 6 parts, and on the 10th 5 parts, and on the 11th to 4 parts, and on the 12th to 3, and on the 13th to 2, and on the 14th to half of a 7 part, and all the light that remains from the total disappears on the 15th day. We just got done looking at the black face moon. And in certain months, the moon has 29 days and once 28. And Uriel showed me another law. When the light is transferred to the moon, and on which side it is transferred from the sun. All the time that the moon is increasing in the light, it transfers as it becomes opposite the sun until the 14th day. Its light is full in the sky. And when it is all ablaze, its light is full in the sky. So that's what he called the full moon, is ablaze. And
did you read this part where it said where she becomes a full moon? Hold on, let me see something. Because the moon sets, and whenever you see the moon, that's why I say once we start doing this, you're gonna start looking at the moon more often when it comes out. It says she becomes a full moon day. She is called a new moon. On that day, the light rises upon her. She becomes a full moon actually on the day when the sun sets in the west. So imagine the sun is in the west and the moon is in the east. And she's bright. She's starting to make a run. And from the east, she rises at night. So she's making a run. And the moon shines the whole night through to the sunrise over against her. And the moon is seen over against the sun. So what's happening now is, hold on, let me make sure I got it all here. Because the moon, on the full moon night, when the moon starts from the east and gets over to the west, the sun greets the moon the next day, like a woman greets her husband. She's full sitting in the west and the sun's rising. She's still out.
Yeah, I got it. I think I got to read down a little bit more.
Which one you stop at, sir? What verse?
Right here. Verse.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
that's okay. And on the first day, it is called the new moon, for on that day, daylight rises on it. So that's right there is that you know it can't be a black moon. I mean, it can't, you know what I mean? That can't be the new moon. And its light becomes full exactly on the day that as the sun goes down in the west, it rises in the east for the night, and the moon shines for a whole night until the sun rises opposite it, and the moon is seen opposite of the sun. And on the side on which the light of the moon appears, there again it wanes, until all its light disappears, and the days of the moon end, and its disk remains empty without light. And for 3 months, as its proper time, it achieves 30 days, and for 3 months, it achieves 29 days, during which it completes its waning in the first period in the first gate, 127 days. That's a whole nother thing right there. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, that's something else, yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
the 30 days, the 30 days, the accomplishment of 360 days, you know, in the 4 seasons with the 4 anchors give you 364. And you know for a fact, it's 30-30 because we can read that. Let's go to where do we go, Sal? Where I took you Exodus, Numbers
33.
33, yes.
Can y'all see that? Okay, hold on. Let me do it this way.
Yep, I can see it.
I'm not gonna keep you guys long because, like I said, it's been a long day for me.
Okay. You want to go 30, start at 3, or start at 1 and work our
Start
way
at
down?
one.
Okay, these are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moshe and Aaron. And Moshe wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the command of Yahuah, and these are the journeys according to their goings out. And they departed from Ramses in the first moon. Right? Well, you can say on the 15th day of the first month.
That's right.
On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with the high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians.
So you know they went out
Mm-hmm.
on the first of the month.
Right, because it was the 15th day when it was a full moon. Y'all get that? Okay. What you want me to do now, man? Keep rolling?
Go to let's validate that. Let's go to Exodus 19 and verse 3 through 8. Start at verse 1 actually. Exodus 19, verse 1.
And in the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they departed from Ramses and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Yahuah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
So we see here, we're talking about the 3rd month. So that's we start on the 1st month, which is the marker day, the beginning of the month, in the month of Abib. And we got to the 3rd month, which is your 3rd marker day, which that's going to give 30, 30, 31, the last part. So we see the time when they went out and how long it took them to get to Mount Sinai. And that same day, Moshe went up for those 40-something days to meet with Yah, to bring the commandments down, which we decided we don't want to hear Yah mouth. Just like when you go out and talk to people about this book, they don't want to hear your mouth. So ain't nothing to do.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear you telling them. They said, no, Moses, you tell us. We don't want to hear Yah. So, but we see the time frame. It was 3 months. Started from the spring, you got to the next 3 months now. Now you're dealing with the summer. When Moses gets over the other last, and you're dealing with on the 15th. So I did the math on it. I got it written down somewhere. It shows how it works out because that brings you to Shavuot. When they got up there, that's when Moses went up to the mountain and came back down. This was Shavuot. They didn't want to hear it. Because you got, like I said earlier, you got an extra more 40 days when Moses go up to get the commandments with the tablets of stone and Joshua build the calf. That's 40 more days. As we was taught, Pentecost is in the 3rd month. Shavuot is in the 3rd month. We read that. Pentecost, if you count 40 more days, you probably get July, someplace in August. When we do the feast days and we read the past, we do the Passover class, I'm going to show you through the count and show you how you get Pentecost in August or July. Because Moses walked out all of these feast days. We read, you don't think Moses went through atonement? Moses went through that too. Why I say that? Because read Exodus 40 chapter, so.
Okay. Talking about when he went up to make atonement for the people.
He made atonement. He went through tabernacle with him. He went through trumpet. He went through all. But when you read the scriptures, you don't see that. But he went through all those.
Right. We know he. Yeah. Right. Exactly. He had to because Noah was doing it. Noah was doing it. You know, he passed it down.
And Moshe had to give them the law. Like I said, he was the lawgiver. He gave them, this was the law.
Okay.
Exodus 41.
And Yahuwah was speaking to Moses, saying, on the first day of the first moon shall thou set up the tabernacle of the tent to the congregation. Wow.
So the first next year, just like we read with Noah, Moses read at the temple, the tabernacle. This was the next year. So he walked these feast days out with these people to give it to them, make sure they got it.
He's telling you right there. The first day of the first moon, which we know, right now we already know what that is.
That's another year, because we see when he brought the children of Israel out of Egypt in the first day of the month, in the month of Abib. Now we're talking about a whole nother year now that passed.
Yeah.
Now he's reeling up the tabernacle.
On the Shabbat.
See, because the thing about these new moons, and that's another thing we need to understand. So we'll pull up that calendar. There's another calendar you need to pull up.
Talking about the one we've been looking at?
No, the one that's got the 185. The one I sent you the other day.
You sent me a calendar? Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah, you did. Hold on.
Because there's a little more to this calendar than what we're looking at. Because on the new moon, you can do things, but you just can't work.
Right. Exactly. Now here on this one here, so don't be confused.
Move your yeah.
Oh, wait. You talking about that one?
No, you were on the right one. Just move your little space, put everybody on a little bit in the middle.
Can y'all see? Do what now?
Let me see, can I do that? Maybe it's mine. So might be me.
Yep.
You took off the calendar, so.
There you go.
Hold on, let me click mine. I think it's mine.
It's right there. But what I was saying to them is don't get confused over here. This is just something, he just giving you an example on how once we recognize the new moon or the full moon, then the rest of the days is gonna fall right in line with it.
They're gonna fall just like you see them on here.
Right, this is just an example, so don't get confused with this. It's just
right. Definitely explain yourself, because people get confused with this. The new moon you see here is day 1. But if you go to day 2, that's day 1 working day. That's why if you was to count from the new moon day all the way to the Shabbat, you get 8, 15, 22, and 29.
Right. But you would start
Those are your
here.
Sabbath days.
Right.
Because you count the new moon, but that's day 1, which is the new moon, but you also got day 1 you work. So there's 2 day 1s.
That makes sense to y'all? In other words, what he's saying is on the full moon.
No.
Okay, on the full moon, hold
I
on.
think we're gonna have to work on this some more for me.
Hold on,
Let's
Just
go to the scripture, Mama. We're gonna find the scripture too.
Hold on, Just one
Okay,
second.
go ahead.
I want to try to just show them something that help me out. Okay, let's see.
And it's gonna take time, you know. Man, we understand. You mean, they know, you know. One of the things we're gonna rush to. We want to make sure you get some understanding.
Okay. Like, let's look at maybe like, well, I don't know. That might make it even worse. Hold on a minute.
What's that, Sarah?
I was just looking at that one calendar. Let me see.
Well, what I think, like I said, she can download the.
Y'all dropped off. I can't hear you.
You still there?
Huh?
Can anybody hear Just Ron? I can hear you, Just Ron.
You can hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna show her this right here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so say for what the hell? Oh boy, they doing everything they can. They don't want you to copy that no kind of way. Okay, let's see. See, this is good. This goes into the new moon. Just see, but see up here, they calling this the new moon, which is we know it's not because what we've been reading. Down here, this is where you would start. This would be the full moon. So right here, if the full moon is on the 17th, right? In other words, you would this way you wouldn't count this day. You would start to count it the next day, and then go 7 days. Because on this calendar it looks like it's 8, but it's not. It's not really that. Like if this is the new moon day. This is the full moon. So you know it's a Shabbat, right? But it's a new moon, so it's a Sabbath. But it's not just like you can't. I don't know how to explain it. It's
not your weekly Sabbath. You would
right. It's just a Sabbath that we supposed to actually be coming together and
right
eating and doing all these things like David did with Saul and all that. But you're not counting this day because that's the day. This is the first day, but it's a Shabbat. So you start at the next day, which is instead of 2, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th day. That's what it's trying to show you.
That's correct. And it'll be good a rule of thumb just to write that down and get a vision of it. You know, when you're looking at your Shabbats and trying to keep them, that way it won't be too difficult when somebody say, okay, it's a new moon feast. You'll know what to do. You'll know it's a Shabbat, but I know I can count from the new moon and still get my Shabbat. It's going to be the 8th day. If I add the new moon to it, it'll be the 8th day.
Right, because 7 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 1 is 8.
Let's give an example of the scripture with it. Let's go and look at the man that liked to party.
We're talking about Solomon. Yeah, that joker boy, he wasn't playing. He was all in.
He knew how to throw a party.
Yeah, he do. All right, let's see.
2nd Chronicles. Solomon knew how to throw a party.
2nd Chronicles.
And start at verse 1, sorry, we're gonna skip.
What chapter?
The 7th chapter, I'm sorry.
7th chapter, okay. Hold on. Okay. Now, when Solomon had made an end of praying, the fire came down from the heaven and consumed the burnt offering and the sacrifices, and the glory of Yahuah filled the house. And the priest could not enter into the house of Yahuah because the glory of Yahuah had filled Yahuah's house. And when all the children of Israel saw how the fire came down and the glory of Yahuah upon the house. They bowed themselves with their faces to the ground upon the pavement and worship and praise Yahuah, saying, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Then the king and all the people offered sacrifices before Yahuah, and King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 22,000 oxen and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all the people dedicated the house of Yahuah. And the priests, and I'll tell you what, if you can do some numbers out of this, and that's going to, if you divide 7 for the, what is it, 7 for the the lambs, and then he said 2,000. I think you would have to do that by 1. I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking about that.
It's not the type of feast you can go to work like we used to do and come home and then try to prepare. That's not that type of feast.
Oh no, man, them priests was working on this, boy.
Yeah.
And the priests waited on the officers, the Levites also with instruments of music of Yahuah, which David the king had made to praise Yahuah, because his mercy endureth forever. When David praised by their ministry, and the priest sounded trumpet before them, and all Israel stood. Moreover, Solomon hallowed the middle of the court that was before the house of Yahuah, for there he offered burnt offerings and the fat of peace offerings, because the brazen altar which Solomon had made was not able to receive the burnt offerings and the meat offerings and the fat. So it was just running.
That brother had a barbecue. You had a serious barbecue going on.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of meat. Also, at the same time, Solomon kept the feast 7 days, and all Israel with him. So he kept the feast 7 days. A very great congregation from the entering in on Hamath unto the river Egypt. And on the 8th day, they made a solemn assembly, for they kept the dedication of their altar 7 days.
So we see here, he kept the feast on the 8th day, 7 more days. So and we know that was on the 8th day because he said it made a holy assembly. We read earlier where holy assembly is appointed time, solemn assembly. So we understand this is a feast day. So this is the 8th day. And then you read 7 days more, he dedicated. So that's on the 15th. Now read the 10th chapter, Sal.
And on the 3 and 20th day of the 7th month, he sent the people away into their tents, glad and merry in heart, for the goodness that Yahuah had showed unto David and unto Solomon and to all Israel, his people.
So you see the 23rd day, because we know 7 more days was the 22nd. We saw 1, 8, 15, 22. On the 23rd, after the feast on the 22nd day, he sent them home. You know, we like to take food home with us. So, you know, he sent them home.
Yeah.
So did y'all come up with which day is gonna be the Passover?
Yes.
Yeah, we came up with it. It's gonna be April. It's gonna when the new moon comes in. It's on. Hold on, let me go get where my phone at.
Let me get the thing.
I'll be on the hold on a second. If we count, and see the thing about it, you know, even with me counting, it's good to know if somebody asks you when the feast gonna be. You know how to do the count and show them why you're doing the count like that, right? Because it's not just up to me to know the count.
Oh, let me do this, man. Let me go get something that has the phases of the moon for March.
Yeah, because it's up to everybody to know when this how this count starts and when it starts. That way you know if somebody asks you or how do you count to determine your feast days? You can show them.
Hold on. Hold on, this ain't what I want. Let's see. Maybe this will be better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, because let's see. So this is March 2022. So we know Well, they said the equinox, the vernal equinox was supposed to be on what what was it, the 20th, they said?
Well, you see, here, this is the first of you. 18 is your first.
It's the 17th, right?
I'm looking
Well,
at, hold on.
Well, it could
Where's the
be,
next Sabbath day, Sal, the quarter?
well, from here, from the 17th,
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the last quarter.
okay, that's your last
But
quarter.
remember, if it's on the 17th, everything gonna line up all the way down the
Okay.
calendar,
So
right?
count days from the quarter.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So the Passover is between the eves. So that's 14 where you at, Sal, right? Because you counted 7 from there. And
Yeah,
we know the 15th day is unleavened bread. So the lamb has to be killed between the eves, the 31st and the 1st at eve. And 31st and the first day.
right.
So on sundown the 31st, the lamb has to be killed between the eves before it gets dark.
Okay. So and then the first is gonna bring in unleavened bread.
Unleavened bread, right.
And then we got the
And
darkness
then
here.
you keep unleavened bread for what, 7 days?
Mm-hmm.
And where's that put us out?
Okay, so let me see. Let me go back and start from the 17th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we know that this is a Passover and then the first. So let's see if I can go get one for April. No, I don't want that close. It did me wrong. Hold on. Okay.
Where's your little arrow to the right side where it says April?
That's when I did that already. It gave me something. It gave me,
It gave you something else? Okay.
yeah, it
So
gave me
you can't
something.
go forward with it.
I'm just gonna try to see if I can do it like this.
That way you guys can make your plans, whatever you need
Oh,
to
okay,
make.
you're talking about right here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. So we know the 31st was, this is unleavened bread right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on, Sal. Go back up, Sal. Back up.
Mm-hmm.
Unleavened bread. First day unleavened bread is the first.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14th and 15th day.
No, you only have to keep unleavened bread for 7 days.
I don't went back to the other calendar thing. That's right. I'm used to going to the 15th, but you still can see that it's a full moon. Hold on a minute. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's April.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's gonna be the first quarter.
Right. And then we know if we
After the first quarter, which is the 9th, it's gonna be first fruit.
and then guess what? The good thing about we started on counting, but guess what? Boom, here's the new moon right in line with it.
You got the Sabbath, which is the first quarter, and then you got what's called.
Let me go to the bathroom, man. Just keep talking.
Okay. 1, 2. Now the way you would count your to get Pentecost, you would count all your Sabbath days. You wouldn't do a number count, just count your Sabbath days. Sabbath to bring you to Pentecost. Because most people would start to count like they would count their days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, you count your Sabbath days only to get Pentecost.
7, right?
Yeah, your Sabbath day, not count like you would say after the first fruit, you would start counting days. No, you count your Sabbath. Get your mark and mark your Sabbath days where they are, and count 7 of those, and add your next day.
Right, that's what. Okay.
Most people do the count on the number, like the next day, no, you count Sabbath days. It tells you that in the scripture. Will you get to 50 days? That's where
Yeah,
they
it says
screw up at.
7 Sabbaths.
Sabbath, Sabbath, exactly. And that gets you the 50 days. So then you find yourself at Pentecost. See, because we're in the month of Abib, so we count Sabbath 7. Let me see where that is. Where would that put us at?
I gotta remember this site too. That way I can keep that for later. I'm gonna screenshot it. Okay, so where we at now?
No, we were just explaining to how to get the Pentecost, get the Pentecost by counting Sabbath, Sabbath
Right, which is +1,
would get you to Pentecost.
right? Because it's 50 days.
Right, right. But the thing about it, you got first fruit. So it says after the Sabbath day, you do your count, right?
Yeah, the day tomorrow after. On the morrow. Mm-hmm.
You see the importance of how important the moon is? Because the moon is still dealing with your festivity days.
It's gonna.
That's why, you know, when people say, well, you can't do a solar count. It don't work that way. Because the moon gives you your moedines. You're not going to get the feast days with your, you know, the sun gives you, as we would say, the sun gives you the years and the stars. We can read that too. Not the moon,
Right.
the sun.
Your days and your years.
All right. You backed up to Enoch 74.
Okay. Don't worry, y'all. It's gonna take you a little minute, but you'll catch it.
Well, it takes time doing anything when it's worth having, you know, it's going to take time. If it's worth anything, it's going to take time trying to get to it. That's why I said the race is not given to the swift. Him that endure to the end.
I just saw Enoch. Maybe I'm going blind.
We ain't going to keep you too much longer, Saul, because I know people got to go to work.
Yeah. Okay, it's Enoch 78.
74. Start at verse 9.
And it says, thus I saw their positions, how the moon rose and the sun set in those days. And if 5 years are ended together, the sun has an excess of 30 days for each year of the 5 years. There are 364 days. So he's steady telling you the same thing was in Jubilee, right? And the excess of the sun and the stars come to 6 days. In 5 years, with 6 days each, they have in excess of 30 days, and the moon falls behind the sun and the stars by 30 days. And the moon conducts the years exactly. That's powerful right there. All of them according to their eternal positions. They are neither early nor late, even by 1 day, but change the year in exactly 364 days. Boy, what that's
See, if the moon was off a day or so, that would interrupt your feast days, your Moedim. So she's got to be accurate.
right.
Feast days got to come in on the time it's supposed to come in.
Right.
Because y'all is dealing with harvest, and we're considered the harvest. So if we're off, guess what? We won't see y'all at the appointed time. So basically, when you look at this agriculture thing, because basically that's why he calls us farmers. It's all about agriculture. That's why we all should know how to grow something. If we can't grow nothing dirt, we should be able to grow something. We're farm people. We when it comes to eating, we like to eat. We need to learn how to grow food.
Yeah. But this is what we've been working on, and we're gonna get it on a lesson so that y'all can get it all. And that way it'll make more sense. You'll be able to go over it. I'm recording this now, but some of this language is going to be kind of hard. We haven't really been. This is something that people study for years, and these are mathematicians. But I mean, as we keep going over it, it's gonna come to you. The Ruach gonna help you with it.
And the thing about it too, like I was saying, when you find idle time and you're just sitting there, turn on and listen to the book of Enoch.
I know. I don't.
Because you have to.
I don't send anybody all those different. You know, I done told them. You know, meditate on the word, man. Just sit there and listen. You'll be surprised. Yep. Yes, that's
The thing
right.
about it is, he always tells Israel, heal Israel. So that means you're sitting down and listening if he's telling you to listen. I mean, I find some of the best time is when I'm driving on the road and I'm listening to the Bible, just listening to it. You'd be surprised what you hear a lot of times you miss.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, the Ruach brings it to your understanding.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't see that. Wow. That's what they're saying.
Right. Because I done been like you, man. I had a pen and some pad paper right there, and I'm riding, trying to watch traffic. Now, oh man, then I try to, you know, write down the scripture when he called the next one. I said, man, what was that? Then he'll say, you know, Leviticus chapter 5. Okay, that was chapter 4. But you're right. You're gonna hear some stuff. You're gonna be like, wait a minute, man, what? Yeah.
Because you're getting this in your spirit. That's basically what you're doing. You're feeding yourself. That's why he told Ezekiel, open up the book and eat it. So it's like a repetition. You're constantly listening to it over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And now when somebody make that statement, oh yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, I see. I mean, you can go right to it. You know where it's at. It becomes part of your life. But we're not gonna hold you guys up because you know some of you guys got to go to work.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and close these out.
And tomorrow is my day of work, going back to work.
Yep.
The calendar that you use to measure time for worship reveals a deity you worship. So if you're worshiping on the solar calendar, as we read earlier, Satan created the solar calendar. But then I got a lot of other stuff to show you how Hallel also brought it into existence along with Emperor Constantine. Even when it comes down to the time that we're in now, we need to learn about these Jubilees, because these Jubilees in the book of Daniel 12:12, when he talks about the 1290 and 1335, those days are very significant. I mean, for us, what we at now, from my understanding, I heard a gentleman make a statement. He said, as of January 6th, ended Israel in bondage of this year. Now the Gentiles gonna go through their bondage. They're what you call it. They got to go through. And it kind of made sense too, because it says flee from out of her. Because Yah's not starting to dish his wrath out on them. Israel done suffered for 400 years.
Yeah, more.
Yeah, and more, yeah. So now the other nations finna feel the wrath of Yah. And then when you look at what's going on, I mean, because when you talk about rapture, and I gotta write it down, there's another word can attribute to rapture too. It's not just being taken someplace, it's also in your mind. When you look up the word rapture and look up the definition, there's a couple words to it. So it's almost like, you know, the things that we were taught, you can hold on to some of it, but some of it you have to let go. Because like I said, when I'm looking at this times table, how Daniel's setting it up with the 49 Jubilees and 948, I think it's 948 and 321, the Emperor Constantine made decree, it brings us down to 2027. And we're looking at that right now. And when you see, like me and Saul and Moshe was talking last night, you're closer than what you think you are, because they're trying to shut this thing down completely to make it to a one world government. And when I say they're trying to do that, they're trying to do this thing real fast, all over the world.
Yeah.
So you can't sleep on this thing. That's why you couldn't have found a better time to wait to the real Shabbat to start worshiping Yah. because a lot of Israel still lost out there. And like I say, you coming out of bondage and Israel starting to wake up, but they don't know the Sabbath day. They don't know nothing about the new moon.
That's why we going over this. So little by little, and I'm gonna put this up there on the class, and I'm gonna send out a text letting everybody know they can go see what we did on the Shabbat. But we got to start getting the people's mind geared away from the Saturday thing. So, we sooner or later, this is what it's gonna be.
So the days are still the same? The 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th?
No, that was just an example.
That's why I
Okay,
said, Mama, that calendar that we saw, and see, that's why I said, you do have that tablet, or whatever you say you have, and I'll find out from my brother whether you guys can put this on your tablets. I mean, on your laptop, not laptops.
Right, computer. And then
Yeah.
once you get away from, because the main thing that's gonna confuse you with this is trying to look at the moon and then at the same time looking at the
Gregorian calendar.
right. That's gonna kill you every time.
That messes everybody up, yeah.
It's gonna mess everybody up. So you got to take the numbers out of your mind, and you got to take the
names.
right, the April, May. You got to get rid of that too. And we just got to go into, because this is the month when spring is supposed to start according to the stars. So let me show them something real.
And then most of the time, when you talk to people, they're gonna always, and you're gonna hear this a lot. You see, y'all dealing with that floating moon.
Right.
But see, when you think about it, nothing floats. The problem is, you too busy saying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But y'all say count the numbers of days. He didn't say name them, he said count.
Right. And then we just got done reading that it's a perfect clock.
Thank you.
It's perfect. So it's floating. It ain't floating. It's with the calendar that you're looking at. That's what's floating.
Yeah, that's what's floating.
But the timepiece is precise.
It's precise. It's like, that's how, actually that's how they came up with the
Rolex.
clock. That's how they came up with the clock. It's 60 minutes, 60 hours. I heard somebody put it that way. That's why I was trying to look up that how they came up with the 60 minutes. It came from Babylon, right? The 60 minutes. But at the same time, it came in the year 2000, right? 2000 years. Who gave them the clock? The 60 minutes? Abraham. Abraham was doing the time of the 2000 years. That's who gave it to him. The Babylonians didn't come up with it. Abraham gave it to him, the 60 minutes. I just show you how Yah work with his people. Everything positive, always coming from Yah people. Just like Abraham showed them how to plant without the ravens. As he put the seeds down, the ravens came after him. Yah showed Abraham how to invent this plow, that when you plow the field, it drops the seed down and the ravens can't get it because the dirt covers it back over. That's in Jubilee also.
Okay, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it little by little. But yeah. Then I gotta send you the thing for the class so that you know what YouTube channel to go to.
Okay.
This is gonna go in the class time. That's what it is. Or I can put it up under something else. You want me to put it up under the calendar? Yeah, I put it up under the calendar. Yeah, it'll go up there. All right then. All right then. That's it. Then I guess y'all we'll get with y'all. And Saturday we're gonna still have class. So I mean, until we can get this all finished and then all out there. So hopefully we should be done with this by Passover. Everybody should be done transferred over by then, because that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna do some more Saturday classes, but that's getting ready to come to an end.
Let's see, came back. I'm sorry, somebody said something. And believe it or not, when you're making this transition, pray to Yah. Because we know things are tough in the time we live in. It took me a minute. I mean, it wasn't something like overnight I started doing. But even when you're on your job and you know it's the Shabbat, you know in the Shabbat, you can't do certain things. So you should be operating, you know, if it's a Shabbat day, you should be operating just like you did during the Shabbat. No pleasure, you know what I mean, what you would do on the Shabbat. And keep praying to Yah and having to work it out for you. I mean, because you can't just quit your job. We don't expect that. We expect Yah to work your situation out just like everybody else. If you truly believe in his word and you truly want to serve him, he always makes a way.
Yeah, he does.
And we've seen it. We've all witnessed that at one time.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just pray out. Yahuah, we thank you so much for this class. We thank you, Father, for the teacher. We ask that you bless the teacher, Father. We ask that you shine your face on everybody that was up here trying to learn your word and seeking your face. We just ask that you keep us safe, Father, overnight in the time of darkness. We just ask that you watch out for us, Father. Watch out for our loved ones. And those that couldn't make it today, Father, remember them as well, for whatever reason. And we ask these things, Father. In Yahushua's name we pray. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, y'all.
Love you guys.
We'll see you guys.
See you lot later.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Shalom.
Shalom.
So you didn't get a chance to put that class up, huh, Saul?
No, but I'm gonna put this one is gonna be up there next. I haven't had a chance, but I'll probably put something up there early in the morning before I get on my way.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Okay.
All right, shalom. All right, priest. Shalom.